What's going on, YouTube? Try to get right into this topic about hodl. Hodl it. Hodl. Basically, hold on to crypto. But I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. Make your own calculated decisions that are best for you. Let's get right into it, man. You have the rich and everybody else who are broke, poor, impoverished, struggling, trying to make a way, trying to live life and not depend on becoming slaves or enslaved or continue to be enslaved to an oppressive type of system or regime or governmental central banking structure. You have Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, 10 years in existence, who are challenging the status quo. Some people say this is an opportunity for the greatest transfer of wealth man or humankind has ever known. You know why I get affected by this and why I'm, I've been just, ever since I've got it exposed and I really started to learn about cryptocurrency, I couldn't leave it alone. I couldn't leave it alone because the more I understand it, it's the clearer things become. I can't reverse what I know now. Just like the transactions that are captured on the immutable ledger called blockchain that can't be changed, can't be reversed. What I've learned cannot be unlearned so far. What's real, like many know and many, it is what it is. You have a group of people who are well off, rich, who become rich by the second, more rich, more wealthy by the second, by the hour, by the day, by the week, etc. On the opposite end of that, you have those who are not, who can't get by, who can barely get by, who don't get by, grasping for straws. People who are under tyranny, under dictatorships, under certain levels of oppression that we can't even muster the words, the description to really paint a picture describing what it is that we're going through. The suffering is real, right? So they say crypto is supposed to empower the people, right? Now, when you say the people, you're talking about all people. You're talking about the rich and the poor. You're talking about the wealthy and those who aren't. Straight up poor. So everyone gets a fair shake, all right? It seems like this Bitcoin thing is introducing a democratic type of system of governance, if you will, even though it's decentralized, because millions of computers around the world can access BitConnect. BitConnect. See, this is the crap. I'm not talking about BitConnect here. Forget BitConnect for a second. Talking about Bitcoin and crypto. 10 years ago, this thing came into the world. 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, Bitcoin was worth much less than it is now. Much less. Could do the research and find out how much less. And look at the price that it is today. Hasn't reached its all-time high, but it's nowhere near its all-time low. Now it's garnering the attention of quote-unquote institutions. So poor people who are working class, middle class, you got to talk about the class system because, the socioeconomic strata is real. We're not considered institutions. When Fidelity talks about how they're opening their services to serve institutional investors, they're not talking about you and I. They're talking about accredited investors and better. Family funds, these groups, individuals who've been reaping the rewards of generational wealth. Billionaires. They're saying that crypto at one point, I don't know if crypto is going to introduce it, but it looks like it will. Through crypto, the world will see its first trillionaire in our lifetime. Trillionaire. Like, after a while, this thing just doesn't make sense anymore. It just doesn't make sense anymore. The wealth keep getting wealthier and the poor remain poor. You have people, heads of corporations. It's well known now that Amazon, Jeff Bezos didn't pay a single tax, a single dollar, a single tax for 2018. Why is that? He's not the only one. But you have institutions like Fidelity, or financial Wall Street powerhouses that are trying to get into cryptocurrency. Banks that have been secretly buying crypto. Governments that have been secretly buying into crypto. Microsoft, who are now building on top of the Bitcoin blockchain or protocol. The list goes on. How many partnerships has XRP made? Ripple. How many groups, venture capitalists, are utilizing the Ethereum blockchain to create whatever they want to create and build on top of the Ethereum blockchain? But folks who are at the bottom this is why, see, there are people who have been talking about crypto for a very long time and have been told that they're crazy, they're crackpots, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, they have no clue, this is a fad, this is going to go away. You have, heads of Berkshire Hathaway calling Bitcoin rat poison squared and all types of nonsense like that, right? Because I'm just going to say flat out it's nonsense, because you have people who are eyeing crypto and governments who are acquiring crypto, and any type of negative opinion that gets hurled at Bitcoin seems like it creates more interest, more public interest. When again, Brad Sherman asked his fellow politicians to join him in Congress to ban Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, and explained why. See, that's the thing. See, at least he presented himself in a way where I could understand and explain this is why Bitcoin needs to be banned according to him. Because it disempowers the US dollar and the US government and the US central banking structure. That's why. He made it simple and clear. And this is what resonates within me and many others who are learning about this. And why I'm saying this resonates, because he's not lying. He's saying if this continues and this doesn't get quote unquote nipped in the bud, any sanctions that the U.S. has wherever, for example, in Iran, will be deemed irrelevant. Because they could go around it. They don't have to use the U.S. dollar. You could use crypto. You could use Bitcoin. That's worldwide, decentralized, permissionless, trustless, cannot be confiscated. No one owns, no one controls it. But then I often hear how people have different interests, especially when money is the motivator. When money is the motivator, people just, you want to jump on the next wave. Folks want to jump on the next wave of whatever it is that's happening that can make them some money. Again, you're right. But think about this being 30 years ago when the internet, things like America Online just surfaced. Remember those Ricky Lake shows? I'm dating myself, but those Ricky Lake commercials, TV talk show, and in between her commercials, and during her commercials, America Online would come on and all that dial-up stuff. I remember that. People didn't understand it then. The internet came under heavy scrutiny, and it was intimidating. 30 years later, look at where we are now. We can't separate ourselves from the internet. The internet of things, you have the internet of money, you have all types of AI, artificial intelligence, or crypto. You have crypto, internet of money. Internet of money, where now these rich people, the minute, I'm telling you, and I'm saying this, and maybe this, the minute, see, if you go to Coinbase, use exchanges like Coinbase and these exchanges now, see, things are, when they say crypto's in its infancy, it sure is, but things are not like how it was even 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the market was a lot different, where a person bought and sold Bitcoin like it was nothing, right? So let me give you an example of how crazy this market is. If you held Bitcoin before they hard forked, Before Bitcoin had its first split, for example, split in terms of stock, but they're called hard forks. There are people who had many, many, many types of Bitcoin, maybe even thousands, right? Of course, not maybe, but of course. After the split, after Bitcoin split into Bitcoin Cash, if you had, let's say, let's say you had 10,000 Bitcoin, and the split allowed you to receive 10,000 Bitcoin Cash, that is free money that a person just acquired instantly, overnight. Life-changing money. Instantly, overnight. And many people didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know if they should, some sold it because the numbers are crazy. I'm sure people were overnight life-changing. Again, I'm going to say just life-changing money overnight. This is what crypto has done. And, folks didn't take, you don't know what you have until you lose it. So what I'm saying is things are not like how they were before. As each day passes by, Bitcoin, crypto, the Bitcoin, for example, the network becomes that much more secure. I was listening to a podcast and they were saying in this podcast, I forget which one, because there's a lot of good podcasts out here that talk about Bitcoins, a lot of smart people out there, because I know nothing about this. I'm just learning. I'm a drop of water in an expanse of this crypto ocean. I'm just a drop of, I don't know anything about this. I'm just learning. Compared to these other experts and knowledgeable people in this, man, I was listening to a podcast where Bitcoin was so ignored by, the tech companies. Imagine if Google caught wind of, all it would take to destroy Bitcoin was Google, for example, one guy said, using 5 of their supercomputers in the early stages of Bitcoin, early, and would have did what they did to shut it down. But that didn't happen. And Bitcoin became what it is today, where it can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. As each day passes by, the network becomes that much more secure and decentralized. And its vision and mission, as far as being an immutable, permissionless, trustless, peer-to-peer system, is strengthened. And its value increases over time due to its scarcity. The blockchain can't be hacked. They say it's tamper-proof. As more people get wind of this, more rich people, folks, again, what do you think they're going to do? Scoop everything up. And those of us here just watching on the sidelines are watching opportunities, just things unfold on the sidelines, not being actively doing the research or investigation and making the best decisions for ourselves and our loved ones. We are just going to watch the technology help the wealthy become even more wealthy, while we remain stagnant, I guess. Or because if this is the wave of the future, why not jump on the wave? Or at least understand it. I'm hearing a lot of people, they have bags. And when I'm saying bags, they have their own specific positions in different cryptocurrencies. They own their own, they've invested, they've done their own thing, and they have their different holdings in cryptocurrency, different bags. They might have some of this, some of that, whatever. 10 different cryptocurrencies, for example, they have 10 different holdings, 10 different amounts for each crypto that they have. And that's what they have. And that's what they're holding on to because they know this thing is about to take off. And that's what people say. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just sharing something from my perspective or thought of what I think is important. And how people need to remain aware of what's taking place here. If all of the millionaires in the United States, for example, if all of the millionaires in the United States, and we're not talking about the institutional investors, we talk about the millionaires, because they're part of the institution. To me, they're all, anybody making above, man, come on. You six figures and high six figures and better, I don't know what that's like. That's all listen, if every millionaire wanted to have a Bitcoin in the United States, they could not get it today. They could not acquire one whole Bitcoin today. Forget about the entire world. So as the popularity increases and as the use case increases and as the network grows larger and people are using Bitcoin on a day-to-day and this thing expands the way that they're talking about. I mean, you're talking about places like Whole Foods accepting Bitcoin payments. Different countries are trading Bitcoin over the counter. People are using Bitcoin as a store of value. What do you think the wealthy are going to do when they really wake up and see, oh my goodness, I can add this to my portfolio. Let me call blase blah, 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 and figure out how I'm going to get my wallet or call a custodian so they can hold on my code. The interest is going to be crazy. And we just going to sit here and watch it unfold and wish and dream and have this opportunity sail right by us. Is that what we're doing? Instead of taking a chance to pull a trigger after you make the best decisions for you, after you figure out what it is that this is, what is this, what's happening here? There's so many scams, man. That's why you got to be careful. There's so many scams because with opportunity comes bad actors. So you got to think, be calculated, have a strategy. The information is out there. The information is out there. There's almost upwards of, they say 2,100, at least in CoinMarketCap, which people have so many. CoinMarketCap says there's at least 2,100 coins listed in their website. Some people say there's a whole lot more coins coming out every day. You could just, if you know what you're doing, you have the software or the equipment, you could create a coin in your bathroom if you have the right equipment. But people are over, there's a lot of nefarious, shady activity taking place from all types of unscrupulous criminals. You don't want to get caught up in that. But in this world of decentralization, because imagine, and then this is another thing. The US, for example, is lagging behind. Like they're dragging their feet, man. They're dragging their feet. We're trying to figure out what crypto is, what to do with crypto, how it should be taxed, capital gain, blah, 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 dragging their feet. Even the own SEC, Miss Pierce, as chairman of the SEC, voiced her opinion and talk about how the U.S. is taking forever, or the SEC, not the U.S., the SEC is taking forever in trying to figure out how to regulate the space. The world is advancing. The world is advancing. But what I'm saying is about the U.S. dragging their feet. You see how 1 year is an eternity in crypto. So, and the U.S. takes forever to look at how long it's taking them to even make a decision on what they're doing with BitConnect. Look at how long it's taking the U.S. to figure out, or government, whatever entities, to figure out what they're going to do with BitConnect. It's been well over a year. Well over a year. By the time it seems like the U.S. really gets to figure out what's what with these regulations and blah, blah. They were saying like, I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago, like less than 1% of people in crypto reported any taxes, any taxable events from using crypto. Yet less than 1% of crypto users reported it on their taxes. Because things are unclear. The U.S. can't get their crap together quick enough. So by the time they do, how technology moves and advances, everything's going to be decentralized. It's going to be a whole nother animal. By the time the United States figures out what's what, how to regulate and solve these issues or whatever, not even solve, but, put their policies in place, man, the changes are going to be so vast, we can't even imagine how things are going to be. I can tell you one thing, things are going to be a lot more decentralized and a lot more different. And then the U.S. is going to have another issue on that. I mean, it's just time is going to go. And this whole time, the rich will acquire more, while the poor remain impoverished, destitute, and broke if the decisions, the information, the risks, the taking of the risks, the making the well-informed decisions are not made. And folks decide to. How many times I've heard people, they're pissed off because 2017 was an incredible year for crypto. Anything that came out of crypto with the ICOs and the coins, whatever they were called, crap coins or whatever, were making money. People were making money overnight. Overnight. People had a bag of, let's say, Dash coins, 1,000 Dash. Dash reached well over $1,000, I think 1,500. 1,000 Dash will give you a masternode. Folks bought, let's say, Dash the year before for pennies on the dollar and became rich overnight. In 2017, became millionaires overnight. Folks got into all types of shady platforms and scored big. You got into a decent ICO, you put a little thing in it, and overnight it just shot up and people made windfalls of money. That's why this thing got so big. And it became the talk of the media, You saw advertisements in Facebook. Even though China banned the use of crypto in their country in the summer of 2017, that didn't stop the flow. All these bans and talk about restrictions. The more you prohibit something is the more people are going to want to get involved with whatever it is you're keeping them from. Whatever it is you're trying to shut down, you're going to meet resistance. And it's not going to work, especially Bitcoin was something you can't even control. Just, folks, all I'm saying, there's something to this Hodl thing. It's a term in the crypto. It means to hold. Hold on for dear life, some people say. But it means to hold. Hold your crypto. Understand what the crypto is. Understand that this is also a thing that's being transferred from the from the impatient to the patient. The transfer of wealth involves relinquishing from the impatient to the patient. So there's a lot of people that won't hold on to this and will lose out. Folks have had opportunities. Look at the guy who had 10,000 Bitcoin and bought 2 slices of pizza with. That's the most famous story. The other gentleman from Europe, he lost 7,500 Bitcoin in his computer, went to the landfill, threw his computer away, went to the landfill to try to dig it up because 7,500 coins. You don't know what you have until you lose it. But if you do nothing, then either way you're messed up. You're in a very, very peculiar, strange, uncomfortable situation. When when you had a chance to do something you didn't do and you let that chance pass you by, oh my goodness. Well, listen, folks. Think very, very long and well about what's good for you in life, what you need, where you want to go, and act on it. Take care.